And I'm back. More dot hack, and I'm in the middle of a fight because my OBS broke again. But it broke early enough that I'm not even making a video out of it. But anyway, as I said, I have like 4 or 5 things that I do in my life that I love and enjoy doing and don't have to think about doing them. My thought process is I'm not one of these people that goes out and says, you know, I think I'm going to go make a garden today. You know, I think I'm going to try skydiving. I think I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. Anime, video games, working out, D&D, going to work, wrestling, sports, all that shit. I got like 5 to 10 metal music or Vocaloid music. 5 or 10 things in my life that I know I do without questioning them. And again, as I said at the end of last episode before the thing screwed up on me, I think it's one of those things where if I'm around somebody, it's because it's a kind of thing where if I have the time to do it, and I don't mind doing it, rather than, oh, hey, I'm going to jump at the chance to do everything with everybody and do... No, I'm not that kind of person. So, being around somebody who's, you know, and I bring this to the Adley situation, is like, Haseo and Adley seem to me like people who would be constantly trying to find ways to connect, but not always connecting. Because they're in 2 different kind of worlds. Outside of the world, you know, if the world is their thing and what they do, sure. But it would always seem like if they were together, it'd be because they have other things they would do, but they don't always intersect. Again, the opposites attract narrative. Alcade, they already have something they know they like, so they would do it. They don't have to think about doing it. And Alcade is, you know, shy enough, but not super shy. But it's like outgoing enough, but not so outgoing it's ridiculous. Like there's a continuum there. She's not so outgoing that she's forcing an issue, but she also is aware that she's not dumb enough that it's like, okay, it's going to get on somebody's nerves. Because I think you would get on somebody's nerves either way. If you're too fucking expressive and too fucking bullheaded and you always make the decisions, then, well, where's the input from somebody else, right? You know, like, what are we going to do? Well, we're always going to do what I want to do. Or, you know, would you like to, you know, but you don't want to be too weak-willed either, right? And I think Adley is way too on the weak-willed side. I've been in relationships with people like that. In fact, I think my first girlfriend was that. I don't even... Back when I was 15. Yes, I have had girlfriends. I haven't had one in 20 years, I think. But it's not for lack of trying. But I'm ready to, willing to admit that, I think. But again, it's my personal preference when I'm looking at characters from a, okay, does this person be around this person at all? To me, it all comes down to, is there immediate chemistry? Or could you look at them and say, all right, being around them doesn't feel like it's a chore. Being around them doesn't seem to me like, okay, the narrative is trying to get them together, and that's part of the fun, really. Part of the fun of this sort of romance stuff is getting people to A to B and seeing those little steps happen over and over. And by and large, I kind of appreciate when games or shows or whatever don't always do the same thing. I'll give an example, was Love Hina. This was a way they did it wrong. The harem show was there just to be a harem, and again, Love Hina is not like what I'd consider amazing, right? But under no circumstances do I ever think, okay, Keitaro and Naru feel like people that would be together. Because Naru's always punching him because he's always staring at her naked or something dumb like that. That's the extent of their comedy. As opposed to somebody who kind of knew him back as a kid, always looked at him and thought, okay, this is the person I remember liking, and even if it wasn't, like, I like you already. And it doesn't feel defeatist, you know. But the show had to sit there and go, nah, no, we built the main character. No, you can't do that. No, 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 no. You know, it just seems like a waste of 20-some episodes to just go there and say, all right, we've given you like 2 or 3, because it almost always is 2 or 3 options, and then, all right, well, we built up this person, but no, we actually have always all along said, nah, it was the main character. You know, that sort of thing. It's like watching one of those shows and thinking, okay, it's always the main person. Where's the fun in that shit? You know? And then it's worse when they don't. Like, I think it would be cool, like, if it's a Tenchi Ryoko thing, like Tenchi Muyo, where it's like, it feels forced because Ryoko is such a force of personality, but by and large, it's like, it doesn't not make sense either. Because they interact so well. If the main character interacts well with you, I don't care that the romance is preordained. If it's a Kraft Lawrence Holo thing, like I've been watching Spice and Wolf, fuck yes, I love that. If it's Zidane and Yuna, or Garnet and whatnot, or the love triangle from Final Fantasy VII, or whatever, that's fine. But when the main characters don't seem like two people that just fit, I always just have this kind of, well, yeah, but you could do better. You never want that, I don't think. You never want that I could do better situation, right? Because if you're into that situation, if you're writing yourself into a situation where, well, Adelie's here, but Alcade has proven to be better, then it doesn't look good, does it? And I think that's really it. It's nice, but I want something better. So that's where this is kind of like half like a Persona, where they're not telling you outright, but they're still kind of telling you. He's gonna end up with Adelie, and it just doesn't, you know. Because that's where Persona games tend to succeed, is that they don't really. I've always felt like Persona games will give you that, there is that kind of main person, or at least, I remember it being said the Lover's Arcana is the main person, you know, the Yukari, Rise, or Anne, and I'm like, no? Not really? No. I think, really, the game is trying to tell you Aigis, Rise or Naoto, and then Makoto, or in Royal Kasumi, right? Everybody else just feels like it'd be nice, and you can if you want to, and that's the beauty of the social link system, is you don't have to. Like, let's face it, Persona 3, like, no way in hell is main character and Mitsuru the canon option, but I'm making it that because I personally think they fit better than Yukari does. That's the benefit of, say, a Persona thing, because Persona allows you that sort of nuance. They don't sit there and give you, we're giving you this sole option, better root for it, better love it. You know, hopefully that's kind of making a little bit of sense where I'm going with this. Because it's not always perfect. And romance is always kind of sketchy. Romance can be a very powerful tool, and sometimes you can even hint at romance and it not even being there. And again, I'm not saying this to dissuade anybody to do like Adelie and Haseo as a thing. It just seems that there's always going to be, yeah, but. And this game, at the very least, has always been the, yeah, we have it, but we're not gonna, like, go nuts over it. Like, trying to save Shino has more to do with trying to save her as a human being and wanting to be around her than I am in love with her and I need to find her. No, you watched her get wrecked and destroyed, and she's gone. She's no longer there. I have to find out who did this. It's a revenge narrative, more so than a romance. But you can lean into the romance as well. But that's the beauty of a game like this, is it has those layers to give you more and more. You don't have to have, but it's there if you want it. You can interpret, and I could be totally wrong. I could be looking at this, and then somebody else could play this, and, you know, I really resonate with Adelie's thing. I kind of want, you know, Haseo to be with her. Or you could throw a curveball and say, you know, I kind of like Pi, even though she's older, and they begrudgingly liked each other. It's like, I can see that. Or, shit, I liked Entrance. I want him and Haseo together. What the fuck do I know? It ain't gonna happen. I think that's kind of the beauty of interpretation, and you could just say, no, I don't want the romance, I just want the buddy comedy, you know. Let's just see the Yata scene, them becoming begrudging friends or colleagues in a way. Or Bo, like, I'm a friend of yours and whatnot. Like, even Gaspard if you wanted. Like, I do not like Gaspard at all. But the benefit is you can choose to say, alright, I want to see the Gaspard scene. So the best way to do that is to make a separate save and go with it. But I think I made my presence and my ideas known here of why I think Alcade is the only one of those, you know, potential 4. And I say 4 because, it, again, those are the ones that make the most sense. Kaede has Zelkova, though they're more, I don't even know if they're friends online. They're just, like, online friends. I don't even know the dynamic of that relationship. But you don't kind of mess with it. Pi and Yata, you won't really mess with it because it's already been an established thing. Pi loves Yata. It's just established. Don't fuck with it. Syllabus and Gaspard are friends, but you could hang around with either one of them. No big deal. Like, if you want to be with Endrins, be with Endrins. I don't, you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Bordeaux? What the fuck would you want to be with Bordeaux for? But the game gives you the option. You know, that's where that also lends itself some help. But you can sit here and weigh the, okay, of these people, what sounds the most fun, or you can watch all of them, or you might have differing opinions, and that's the benefit of having such a strong character focus, is everything can make sense, and it doesn't have to be just my opinion. You know, my interpretation of things is a person should have chemistry with people they're hanging out with, because that's why they're friends. They share things in common. And then, you know, getting into the romance idea, if you're gonna have a romance with somebody, you better make damn sure you want to be around that person nonstop. Or you better be damn sure you're gonna make compromises, and not in a bad way, but that comes first. If you're gonna be around somebody to the point where you may live with them or marry them, you know, and I don't think this game is taking it that far. I'm just using it as an example. I'm saying you better like this person inside and out, or at least if there are things about them that annoy you, they don't annoy you to the point where it's such a detriment to being around them that it's not fun anymore. Because you might be with kids, you might be with other families, you might be doing whatever, you know. What the fuck? What is this?
Is this indigo?
Hmm.
Here goes.
Okay. So I've still got... I've got 20 more levels to go. That's unfortunate. Ow. So yeah, it's one of those situations where I appreciate that the game is giving you as many options as possible. Because if the game was to tell you flat out it's just Adderley or no go, well, that kind of sucks. Because it's not some preordained thing and they don't really work together, at least to me personally. And heck, you might have watched Dot Hack Roots and been like, well, I like Tabby more. What about her? Give her a chance. Well, this game gives you that opportunity, even if the game outright doesn't give her jack shit to do. Give her one thing. You get one email, this upcoming cutscene, and being a party member. So you just have to kind of go with it. It's not even the Shino thing where it's like in-game. It's like all of this is leading to Shino getting back with Haseo, or at least getting back to what their life used to be. How dare you? How dare you get your HP back? I've still got 20 levels to go, so that's unfortunate, because I wanted to talk about that stuff, and I've talked about it. What else? Oh, yeah. Volume 4. Interesting. How Volume 4 ties into Volume 3. That could be a talking point. Okay, there we go. Got him. Good. Well, that was annoying. Alright, 20 more floors to go. Let's go. But Volume 4. Well, we'll start with how it came to be, because this game existed first. So, this game came out 2006, 2007. I don't know the specific sales numbers, but apparently it was good enough that the people making it were like, hey, I want to remaster it for the PS4, so they remastered it. What they did with Volume 4 was bring back as many of the voice actors, because either a lot of them were still working, and probably still are even 8 or 9 years after this, or like as many as they could. I thought it was cool that every voice actor is still here and they brought them back, because there are some times where you do the Persona thing where, hey, we're gonna make Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, but it's one of those things where bringing back old actors. I think Near Replicant did the same thing as well. It helps the continuity, because it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to get a new set of characters involved, I gotta get the feel and vibe for this actor, because that's the Persona, you know, the Persona issue with them re-releasing with new actors and whatnot. It's like, you gotta gauge if they're any good or if they're gonna drive you nuts. By and large, it's a good change. But it is still kind of like watching an old show and bringing back old actors. The Disney thing. I remember when Disney did the Wreck-It Ralph Princess scene. It's always fantastic to watch it. Rewatched it again recently. And like, anyone who was a Disney princess in either their old stuff or the newer, like, direct-to-DVD or just some other ancillary bullshit, whoever was the current actress at the time was brought in to do that scene. And it was like, oh, it's the same person. You know, like, doing Aladdin, and you still get, like, those actors to do that. You know, Gilbert Gottfried, when he was still alive, was Iago, such and such. Linda Larkin is Jasmine, etc. It's the sort of nostalgia that hits you like a gut punch, and it's like, oh, this is cool. You know, it's just that warm... Oh, not the punch in the gut, the warm feeling in your heart. I'm distracted by my OBS being a fucking piece of shit. My OBS right now is the printer in Office Space. That's basically what it is. But I'm not stopping. I don't care what this fucking software is saying. I'm going to get this shit done. And I'm going to get my talking points in, whether it likes it or not. But I think for me, it's one of those things where Volume 4 does not need to exist. But it does because they're trying to tie up some loose ends. But they're also adding in a kind of different way to do cutscenes, a different way for Haseo to fight, a new form, basically. But they're enhancing what they already had with the original game, but they're doing more to it. It's essentially kind of the same way they're doing... It's like a remastered stuff added in with the Persona or SMT style DLC game kind of vibe. Because that's basically what you're doing, is you're re-releasing the old game, but with more shit in it. The difference is they did it 10 years later instead of doing it, 2 or 3. I know Atlas has said they're going to stop doing that shit, but they're going to focus on just an expansive DLC months later. So that's one way they could do it, is make it work. Also, if it sounds like my voice is cracking, it's because it kind of is now. But yeah, Dot Hack is a franchise that should be remembered for as good as it is, but I don't think gets as much stuff done with it as it could. Either because it's not profitable, or because the creators can't find funding, or whatever, or they don't have any new ideas. I don't know. But I always thought of it as the prototype to Sword Art Online, done in a different way. Because Sword Art Online wasn't the first isekai, I guess. Well, and it wasn't even an isekai, but it was sort of like... How would I put it? An isekai mixed with how Dot Hack does their thing. Like, Dot Hack, you get absorbed into... Like, your consciousness gets absorbed into the computer, and you're basically in a coma. Sword Art Online, at least initially, did the same thing, except you get... Instead of a coma, you're in a coma in real life, but you're in this, like, new fantasy world. Your mind is basically... Or something, some such. But Sword Art Online became this big fucking franchise and whatnot, and for better or for worse is, or was, I don't know if it still is, but they've got all the games and all the stuff and all the funding and all the, I think Dot Hack could have been that, but I think it was going for something a little more dramatic. And the best way I would kind of describe it would be Star Trek, in a way. Like, Dot Hack is more trying to be Star Trek and kind of philosophical and less... I mean, it's still action-based, but if you watch any of the Roots or especially Dot Hack Sign, you're just watching people's faces. You're not even watching them fight half the time. You're watching them uncover a mystery in the world. They're not trying to explore the world, really. They're trying to explore the versions of what is online versus offline characters. What are your relationships with people? What are your home lives like? You don't really care about stats and stuff like that. This is just a backdrop. So for better or for worse, it's kind of its own thing. And does that make it better or worse than Sword Art? No. It just means that they do different things. But I do think Dot Hack is one of those forgotten, hidden gem sort of things, especially the older we get. Because something's going to get popular and then something's going to get forgotten. But, I mean, Dot Hack is one of those forgotten gems. Because the old school franchises, which ones are people going to remember? They're going to remember Cowboy Bebop, Evangelion, Gundam, though Gundam gets remade all the time, Dragon Ball, you know, Naruto and One Piece and shit like that, which I don't play or watch. Detective Conan, because that's been around forever, you know, Lupin the Third to an extent, but even Lupin, I'd say, it's more a novelty than, oh my god, I actually really love this, you know. I don't know how well the sales of Lupin really are. But Lupin's been around for 50 years, so it's one of those, like, James Bond legacy things. Dot Hack does not have that luxury. It has a couple of game franchises, a couple of video games, a couple of other ancillary things, a couple of anime. And then that's about it. You know, and I think it's a shame, because this stuff is really fucking good. And hopefully, if nothing else, I've been able to explore that and show that off and say, hey, this is really fucking good. And I'm still like 15 levels away. I have an idea. Especially if my OBS is going to be so stupid. Because I'm running out of things to talk about and I think my voice is actually dying, what I'm gonna do is kill this guy. Yeah, you can see it slow down really fucking bad. I don't think it wants me to be doing this shit right now. My god, what is with you, OBS? Fucking hell. Okay, I'm at 35. And, yeah, it is my OBS doing it. It does not want me doing whatever the fuck this is right now. So, I'm going to do the smart thing and cut my losses and say, alright, this is just going to be like 2 big long episodes then. What I'm going to do, the next episode will be the last one of Volume 3, but I'll get Tabby, and then I will show off the Alcade marriage. And then we'll start with Volume 4 in the episodes after that. So, hopefully OBS cools itself and stops its shit so that I can actually get shit done. But hey, I need to rest my voice too. So, there is that. So, many good things all around. But hey, I'll take a break and get this done off camera, and I'll see you next time.